is Jerry Agar on News Talk 1010.
Good morning. Bob Reid, who joins us on Fridays for touchdowns and fumbles, has scored a touchdown himself as he has traveled across the world to entertain Canadian troops. And he joins me now can we say exactly where you are at the moment, Bob, or what's the deal here?
I'm at Kandahar Airfield in Kandahar, Afghanistan, Jerry.
Playing that there guitar?
I'm a keyboard player, actually. You and I are still getting to know each other, aren't we?
Yeah, that's right. So it's a thrill to be able to do that for the troops, isn't it?
I'll tell you, this is, I knew going in this would be an experience of a lifetime, and back a few weeks ago when I got the call, when I got the invitation to come over here along with a number of other musicians and some celebrities from the world of sports as part of a goodwill tour to come over here, spend some time, entertain the troops, hang out with them, talk with them about what's going on at home, but more importantly about the work that we're doing here. I knew, as I say, that it was going to be the experience of a lifetime, and it's really hard to put into words, Jerry, just how true that is. And especially to have the tremendous good fortune. I mean, the whole reason that I ended up here in the first place comes back to a song I wrote and recorded last year, and that News Talk 1010 has been so instrumental in helping get out there and make people aware of, the song called Highway of Heroes. And that was what led to the invitation for me to be part of this visit. And I got to perform that song in front of several thousand troops last night, backed by some friends of mine who I won't name at this point. I'll be able to talk in a little more detail, Jerry, when we all get back. But it was an absolutely unbelievable scene. As I say, a couple of thousand troops, lots of Canadians, lots of Americans. There are soldiers here from the UK, from Australia, from the Netherlands, and we all just had one heck of a time. And I got a number of very, very heartfelt comments and compliments back on my song, which was just part of a larger set that I played with backing some other guys. But I got the spotlight on that one, and it was absolutely incredible.
I was a few years ago in Iraq for a while, and I found it to be a humbling experience because it just brings you so much closer to what these men and women have inserted themselves into and what they are willing to do for their country and for ongoing freedom in the world.
It's really staggering, isn't it? That we all read the newspapers and watch the broadcast coverage coming out of here. So, you think you have a sense of really what it's like and what's going on and what's being done here. But the fact is, we don't. Despite the commendable efforts of the Canadian media who are here, just the reality of the news business being what it is and the things that get through the lineup and things that don't, there are absolutely incredible stories here that deserve to be told. And with the troops I've spoken to, I asked them, do you get a sense of support from at home? Because there really is a tremendous amount there for the work that you're doing and what's going on here. And almost universally they tell me, yes, we do feel Canadians are behind us. We do feel that they're supportive of us, but we really don't think that they're fully informed, that they get the full picture of what it is we're doing here, why we're here, the work that we're doing, and what happens. And they've expressed some frustration that we make the news when something goes wrong, when something goes bad, when someone gets hurt or gets killed in action. But day in, day out, there are thousands here under our flag who are working long, full days every day doing the big job, and that is trying to get this country up on its own 2 feet to the point where it can be a viable, self-sustaining country that can provide at least base-level services to its people, and more importantly, provide an alternative to them, a credible, alternative and a more attractive alternative to what they had been given or had thrust upon them in the past, so that this can be a stable, viable country and one that does not pose a threat to our country.
Bob Reid is in Kandahar, calling us from Kandahar Airfield, and he's there to entertain the troops. Bob, after I came back from Iraq, I was asked to make a presentation along with other media people at a war college in the United States, and I really got into an argument with some people from some major media outlets on an issue that you just touched on with the media, and it's the troops' concern that when things go wrong, that gets reported. When things go right, it doesn't, and the defense that these media people gave was, hey, we don't report on when the airplane lands safely, we report on where it crashes. And my response was, yes, but when the airplane lands safely in a place like Iraq or Afghanistan right now, that's a good story. And it's maybe not necessarily specifically an airplane, but when they're building schools, when they're making great connection with local people to build more of a defense against that percentage of the local population that is the danger, those are great stories, and I don't think we in the media portray them enough.
No, unfortunately, you're right, and that is the reality of, you know, the old newsroom adage: if it bleeds, it leads. But if it's a softer, gentler story, it's probably not going to get as much attention. There are, I mean, the Canadian troops that are here are working hand in hand with the Afghan National Army, which only a short time ago, Jerry, first of all, didn't exist, and secondly, was an absolute joke. The turnaround, the progress that Afghanistan's own army, and if you don't have security within your country, you have nothing. So that's the starting point. The progress that the Afghan National Army has made under the tutelage of the Canadian Forces is dramatic, to the point where they are growing steadily, they're making progress, and they are working towards that goal of being able to take over their own national security on their own. Another priority area is the police. And I was at a briefing yesterday, and was told this was the image that brought it home to me. They said, you know, you and I, we all think of a police officer as a credible authority figure in the way that, you know, that we all do. They said the problem here is, through the life experience of these people of Afghanistan, a police officer is generally a 17-year-old kid in a pair of flip-flops who happens to have an AK-47 strapped to his back, who spends most of his days shaking people down for money. That has traditionally been what a police officer means over here. We have Canadian police, Mounties and members of local and regional services from all over Canada, from different locations in our country, here now doing the job, the same job that the Canadian Forces have been doing with the Afghan Army. Canadian police are training police officers here to be real, credible, trustworthy police officers. Again, without security, you can't do any of the other things that are imperative for any country to be able to be functional, to sustain itself, and to be able to provide at least basic level services to its people.
Bob Reid reporting for us from Kandahar, and this is the song, Highway of Heroes, that he did for the soldiers and is performing there.
Anytime another falls, we will gather here, in any kind of weather, any time of year, watching for the headlights down the 401, respect and dedication for our bravest ones. Hearts filled with sorrow and with pride, as the fallen pass below on the final ride. Along the highway of heroes we stand, in a show of gratitude from right across the land, standing on the bridges faithfully, because you keep our true north strong and free.